Hi folks, it's Steve here. This video is volume 1 of a video diary I'm keeping on my sessions for my upcoming album, which is going to be called Live Fearlessly. And I thought in this first edition I would just tell you a little bit about the record and also tell you a little bit about what I've been up to for about the last year. I've kind of disappeared off YouTube and haven't put anything new out for my video lesson business for about a year, and there's with good reason. So here's the scoop. I've just been busy with other stuff. That really is the simple answer. But what happened is that about a year ago I had been working at that point pretty diligently for about 4 years and putting my video music lesson site together, getting the content filmed and changing to different platforms and doing a bunch. Like if it were just as simple as putting a camera over the top and filming the lessons, that's one thing, but it was mostly, there's a ton of post-production and editing that had to be done over the course of time, especially when we changed to the new membership format where you can stream it, and making all the YouTube performance videos, all that stuff. And at that point, a couple of things happened at the same time. One, I felt like I'm sure there's more for me to teach, but I don't know what it is right now. I just felt kind of fresh out of ideas and in need of recharging my batteries. And two, there was enough content on there that anyone who bought a year's membership would have more than they could fit into a year. So since it is set up in such a way that it can kind of be on autopilot as long as there's enough content, I said, okay, I'm not going to try and squeeze, blood out of a turnip here. So I just kind of quit filming for a while and let it be on autopilot. And the other thing that was interesting is that because I had been a presence on the internet now at that point for 4 years, the combination of that momentum and then the momentum I've been building up. I've been in Southern Nevada now. This is 10 years this past August. By the way, it's August 31st, and this is the first day of sessions, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But so about a month ago, I celebrated 10 years out here, and in that 10-year period, I've made a lot of contacts, and I mostly have played a lot of gigs in this general area. But the interesting thing about living in Southern Nevada is that no one who's here is actually from here, or very, very few. Everyone's from somewhere else. You either come out here to retire for part of the year, or even if you move here permanently, you probably have family and a long history somewhere else. So there were a lot of people out here who got to know me as a performer, and we built relationships. They liked what I did. And between that and the quote-unquote notoriety I got from what I've been doing on the internet all these years, my schedule started to get jam-packed with gigs, and mostly out of town. So I have been playing parties, like anniversaries and corporate parties, and a lot of fun gatherings all over certainly California and Nevada and Utah, Colorado, the whole area, Wyoming, around Nevada, and then as far west as Nebraska and Iowa and all other, I've made a trek at least once up into the Northeast, like Northern California and Oregon. So I have been busy on the road, and when I haven't been on the road, I have either been relaxing and trying to enjoy a personal life, or the other thing I've been doing is writing. I've been doing a lot of songwriting. So anyway, in this year that I've taken as sort of other than the fact that I've been busy as hell playing, I took kind of a walkabout on anything else, and an old desire of mine bubbled up. And it's to be a recording artist. I've always wanted to do that, and I'm not sure when I started talking myself out of that. My first marriage, and this is absolutely not her fault, by the way. I'm not throwing her under the bus, but I think when I got married at the age of 22, right out of college, I just kind of felt like, you know, I'd be being a really bad husband if I tried to do that. If I went to Nashville or LA or some hub like that and then tried to become a recording artist, because I know that it requires being on tour a lot and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, that was actually not just a disservice to myself, it was probably a disservice to my first wife too, because she may have been a lot more supportive of the whole thing than I gave her credit for. Well, I wasn't trying to not give her credit. I think my heart was in the right place, but I started talking myself out of doing what I really wanted to do. Well, here we are many moons later. I'm 37 years old. I'm going to be 38 in November. And I know it's weird. Not very many people my age are going to get a major label recording contract. I don't care. I'm still going to try. And part of my efforts are, right now I don't feel like it's the right time to just pick up and move to Nashville or whatever, because I'm not even sure what direction I want to be in. But I definitely am going to start harnessing the internet to build my own fan base as a performer as well as a teacher. And I'm going to start making my own records. I'm going to try and make at least one album a year. If I can't do it with a producer and a studio budget or whatever, I'll do it myself and with whatever session players I can afford. But I'm going to make a real go at it, and that's going to be kind of my primary focus going forward, is writing songs, making records, and then hopefully finding places where I can go and share that music, because a lot of the gigs that I've played thus far in my career have mostly been places that want to hear cover music, and I understand that. So I want to get on some circuits where I can play my original material, but you got to have something to sell to go out and do that. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I have set a release date of November 4th for this album. It's called Live Fearlessly. November 4th is my birthday, so on my 38th birthday this will come out. I do have one other album I made in 2000, and I will certainly be putting that up for sale as well. But when it gets released, I am going to have some decent, you know, not just shitty CDs that I make here in the apartment with the sticky labels. I will actually invest in a graphic artist and get an actual cover and have a company that does that deals with that kind of media, and get some of those printed up so that I can sell real CDs. But mostly what I'm going to do is put it on iTunes and CD Baby and all of the places that people like to buy digital music, because that is sort of the preferred medium these days, and it'll all go for sale at that time. So in the meantime, I am working on actually making the music. So it's fun, exciting times, and I'm looking forward to enjoying the journey. I have about 20 tunes right now, songs that I've written over the last few years, and then several that I've written over the last year or so that are under consideration. I'll probably nail that down to about 10 or 12 for this first one, and then the others will pop up at some point. But like I say, I'm going to act like a recording artist even if I'm not signed, and I'm going to start an aggressive YouTube campaign. Going to redo all of my performance videos that I've done over the years. I'll do my music, I'll do covers of other people's music, but this is one of the last videos you're going to see where I use this shitty technique of, you know, just like pick up whatever the camera mic gets. I'm actually going to treat it like I'm a professional, and we'll capture the audio professionally, and I'm filming in high D now and all of that, high def, and we'll sync the two up. So going forward, the videos are all going to look and sound a lot better than they have in the past, and you know, we'll just see where it goes. But for me, I think big goals are great, not necessarily because you have to achieve them, but because they give you something to work toward, and as long as you enjoy the journey between where you are and wherever it is you end up, you can't really ask for any more than that. So the other thing that I did that some of you that have been following me for a while might be interested in is I've retooled my studio a little bit, and I'll show you what I've been up to. Let's see here. First and foremost, meet my Baldwin Pianoville. This is my 88 key weighted instrument. It's got a wonderful piano patch that I'm very fond of. This is where I'll be doing my acoustic performance videos, and what I'll do all of my, certainly all the piano parts on my recordings are going to be played on that. Over here, of course, you might recognize that's my Roland Phantom sequencer. That's the keyboard I've had back here for a long time. Used to be sitting here. Now it's against this wall. And it is still very important because it's what I do my my tracking with. So in other words, I'll put bass parts, drum parts, strings, horns, that kind of thing together on there. And that's for my performance tracks that I use when I'm at gigs and whatnot, but I'll actually record the piano parts over here on this instrument. So she's still with me. This, by the way, I'm going to actually, anything that I do going forward as far as piano lessons as well will be done on this keyboard now as well. Used to do it in here just because it was in here, and this guy was in my living room, so it'll be nice to have that all set together. And then of course here's my desk where I write lyrics and try and think of good ideas for songs and do all the post-production on all these damn videos, because that's mostly what you get done when you're in the video business. And of course you guys have seen this before. I keep sort of a wall of fame up here for inspiration. I like to have my dudes staring me in the face. This is a picture of me and the choir that I sang in, the concert choir I sang in college, and we're on the stage at Carnegie Hall, which was an amazing experience. It's a poster for a show that I did where we raised a bunch of money for cancer research. This is Chicago, who is sort of my favorite band. And this is something my first wife put together for me regarding my first album, and it just really makes me look cooler than I am, so I keep it hung up. This is the newspaper clipping, of course, from Billy Joel and Elton John the first time that I saw them, along with my ticket stub right there, as you can see. And I framed that the day after, and I've always enjoyed it. And then this, of course, as you've seen, is the ginormous poster that I found from their tour. This guy, first time I ever did an Elton John tribute act, I made that poster. I had my current significant other take that photo, and then I photoshopped it all the hell and created sort of a little promo poster, and that's a fond memory. And then this I've had laying around. This is a great picture of Elton John from when he made the Made in England album, which I think is like 94, 95, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I like that look on his face. I put that up on the wall because as I start to get discouraged, because you start out with such great hopes when you're doing something like making an album, and you get into it, and not everything goes as easily as you want it to, and there's this look on his face saying, "Of course you can do it. Stop acting like a baby and get your ass to work." You know, and so I kind of need to have my ass kicked a little bit every once in a while. And then this is Alexa Ray Joel. This is Billy Joel's daughter, who's a very talented singer and piano player herself. She was doing a tour of Hard Rock Cafes back in '07, and I drove up to Salt Lake City to see an old friend of mine, and then I dropped in on her show, met her. She's a sweet girl. Signed this poster for me, and I bought her extended play. So I put that up as sort of an homage to someone who I hope might become a famous star someday. Okay, so my wall of fame is up, and then don't know whether you'll really be able to see it, but over here, there we go. See that little guy? That's me. That's me when I was just a little tyke. The big piano there, that's the piano I grew up playing on. Doesn't even exist in our family anymore. We left it in Nebraska. And then this little piano is something I used to just make a lot of noise at. I think I'm about 2 there. And there's that yellow, if you can see it, there's a yellow plastic baseball bat, like for Nerf. And my dad always laughs at these pictures. He said those are the two things you used to beat the hell out of. So anyway, and then over here, this is an interesting little table. Bring it over. My dad had a clothing store that I worked at all through college and for a couple of years while I was trying to figure myself out, called Lungrin's for Men. I know there's a terrible glare from the window there, but we specialized in tailored clothing, suits and sport coats. So I put a little display on the end over here. There's a suit and a thing there that we used to have up that says undecided, give our gift certificate. And there's some order forms and an inventory form and a CD-ROM we used to give out with information, because we did a lot of informing of college students and whatnot for the interview process. And then on the other side of it, right here, summer of 1994 tour with Billy Joel and Elton John, Cyclone Stadium, Ames, Iowa. And then there's the date, which is 8/13/94, and this is the whole set list. I made that up and framed it. Actually, the friend I was with, I think, made that up, and then I framed it because I thought it was cool. And then these are just concert programs of people that I've seen that I remember liking. A lot of Billy and a lot of Elton, the Eagles, Paul McCartney's in there. So, and I'm not really a great collector of stuff, so there's a lot of stuff I've been to that I don't have any memorabilia for, but anyway, retooled the old studio, try to make sure that I've got lots and lots of sources for inspiration, so that when I'm not just easily working, I can look around me and be surrounded by the energy that I want to be surrounded by. And of course, then I get on the internet and I watch their documentaries and their performance videos and stuff, and it juices me up a little bit. So anyway, that's one of the projects I've worked on, and I'm really excited about it. It's a wonderful working space now. So this is where it's all going to take place. I'm calling it Live Fearlessly because it is sort of the beginning of a new chapter in my life, where I am acknowledging that yes, I want to be a singer-songwriter, and I would like my music to be heard by more than just a few people on YouTube. So I'll let you know how that's all going. I'm going to have probably a fair number of naysayers to ignore along the way, but I'm going to keep at it. So anyway, there you go. I'm going to get started after I turn the camera off, working on the very first song that I'm going to be putting together. It's one called Bring Back the 70s. And as I go along through the process, I'll kind of have a making of each of the songs, and then we'll make sure that the songs are sampled on YouTube. We'll put some acoustic performances up and whatnot, and it'll be really fun. Some of that we may not get uploaded until the album's actually out, but I am really excited to be doing this work, and you're going to see a lot more of me on YouTube here over the next few months. And like I say, that we'll actually have professional audio instead of what I'm doing right now. But you got to get started with what you've got, and all of the parts that I need to make all that work are being shipped to me right now. So remember, if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong. I'll be around, and thank you so much for all the support you've given me over the years. I have had nothing but fun meeting all of you through the internet, and you are a big part of why I am moving forward on my lifelong dream. So thanks a lot, have a good one, and take care of yourselves.